12,000 years after Genesis of Aquarion, humanity on Vega faces a new threat, Altair, a planet desperate to survive. The Altians invade Vega using massive abductors to kidnap women strong enough to endure the trip back. To fight back, Neo-DEAVA forms two teams, one all-male, one all-female piloting mechs called Aquaria. But when teenager Amata Sora taps into a hidden power to protect his friend Mikono, he breaks all the rules, merging male, and the war takes a whole new turn. Amata Sora is the definition of a loner. Instead of hanging out with people, he spends all his time rewatching Skies of Aquaria at the movie theater like it's his own personal religion. But one day, something crazy happens. He notices an actual living, breathing girl named Mikono Suzushiro. Even crazier, he somehow finds the courage to ask her out on a date, and the totally normal date prep. As they wander around, Amada and Mikono chat about the mysterious Abductors, a group responsible for recent attacks. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, the Abductors are literally on their way. While Amada leaves Mikono alone for a moment to add even more weights to his shoes because she makes him that nervous, the Abductors arrive and chaos erupts. The elite Aquaria pilots, Cayenne, Andy, and Malloy in one mech, and Zessica, Emix, and Sazanka in another jump into battle, and they both end up trapped under the rubble. That's when things get even weirder. Kagura suddenly senses Mikono from afar, gets all creepy, and dramatically declares, "I found my pal on the boys' side." Andy W. Hole is whining about wanting to see the girls, but before he can get too carried away, his instructor, Don Ardantes, slams the rulebook. This makes him a bit on edge. But there's no time to process his feelings because suddenly, a red alert. The Abductors have shown up in the crest area. Cayenne, Andy, and Malloy deploy in their vectors and head out. But this battle is about to be very different because he has zero idea how to pilot this thing. Flails around at first because, it's his first time operating a giant robot. But luckily, Zessica's sister being anywhere near this madness blames Amada for dragging her into battle. And honestly, Amada agrees. He admits that this is all his fault. Ever since he was a kid, people feared his strange ability to fly. So Amada wakes up in the all-boys dorm of Neo-DEAVA, completely disoriented and probably wondering how his life turned upside down so fast. Before he even has a chance to process, he's whisked off on a grand tour of the place. But just as he's starting to get his bearings, he finds himself face to face with Cayenne, who seems to have appointed himself the official Big Brother police, and starts drilling Amada for information about Mikono. Cayenne's in full-on interrogation mode, grilling him like a detective. "Why are you so close to my sister?" It's all very intense. But before things can get too heated, Don Ardantes bursts onto the scene, dropping some serious news. Amada will need to go through an examination before he can even think about piloting Aquarion. Oh, and by the way, he's completely forbidden from seeing Mikono. Just like that, Amada's excitement tanks, and now he's in full-blown depression mode. Meanwhile, over in the all-girls dorm, the girls are gathered around, talking about the whole union with the boys' situation. Naturally, Zessica is right in the middle of it, probably making it 10 times more fun and chaotic. But before things can get too spicy, Mick storms in like a one-woman SWAT team, demanding answers from Mikono. She's got questions, and she expects answers. But Mikono, she's having none of it. She straight up shuts down the conversation and refuses to say a word. It's clear she's got a lot on her mind, but she's not ready to share, especially not with everyone pressing her for details. As the day winds down, both Amada and Mikono can't shake the feeling that they need to see each other. As if guided by fate, they both hear the sound of piano music and follow it only to end up on opposite sides of the dorm wall. And that's when Amada stumbles upon Andy, who is very determined to dig a tunnel straight to the girls' dorm. Amada, seeing a golden opportunity, jumps in to help. Together, they go full escape mode, digging their way through the ground with the precision and dedication of two guys on a prison break. And it actually works. When they finally break through to the other side, they find themselves in a rather unfortunate position, right under Mikono's skirt. Time seems to freeze as Amada realizes what he's looking at, and his brain just completely short-circuits. In his panic, his flight powers kick in, and instead of, backing away like a normal person, he zooms straight up into Mikono's skirt. Mikono is absolutely not amused, and Amada officially earns himself a one-way ticket to her bad side. The next day, Amada, Andy, and Cayenne get dragged into a mock battle, but Amada is still way too deep in his feels to focus. He's reliving last night's disaster over and over again, spiraling into peak awkwardness. Meanwhile, Mikono is still fuming, probably debating whether or not to just throw something at him the next time she sees him. When the battle starts, Amada is so wrapped up in his self-pity that he can't even manage to make a union. But then, something changes. He finds out the girls are watching, and suddenly, his motivation bar shoots back up. With a newfound sense of purpose, he finally manages to merge, forming Aquarian Gepard. The crowd is pumped. The tension is high. Everyone's waiting for Amada to pull off some epic attack. And then he doesn't. Instead of unleashing some cool, flashy move, Amada does something no one expects. He pulls off Dyogiza Riz. He soars high into the air, then nosedives straight down at full speed, slamming into the ground. The result? A perfectly executed, over-the-top bow of apology. Everyone watching is absolutely baffled. Donar Dantes, ever the professional, takes a moment to clarify. Yes, that was definitely a bow. The entire audience is scratching their heads, wondering what in the actual hell just happened. But Mikono, she gets it. She realizes that this was Amata's ridiculously extra way of apologizing to her for the whole skirt incident. And, against all odds, it actually works. Just like that, she forgives him. Meanwhile, over on Altair, Jin is preparing for battle against the Vegans, while Kagura is hanging out with Mikage in a literal glass coffin. While Suomi Konepi and Donar Dantes are having a serious discussion about whether or not to send Mikono home since she hasn't shown any signs of having element power, Suomi casually brings up something called the Aquarion incident. Now, this clearly means something, but Donar instantly shuts it down with a "we do not talk about that" attitude, making it very obvious that there's some juicy, classified history behind it. Meanwhile, over in Amada's world, he's still obsessing over whether Mikono really understood his grand, gravity-defying apology from the mock battle. But before he can get too lost in his thoughts, he runs into Andy, who looks completely devastated. Why? Because someone has filled in his beloved tunnel to the girls' dorm. It's clear that someone from the other side of the wall sabotaged his masterpiece, and Andy is taking it personally. This isn't just about a tunnel anymore. This is war. Before they can start planning revenge, Amata hears that same mysterious piano music from the other night. Andy, ever the ultimate wingman, takes this moment to introduce him to the legendary musician behind it, Shrade Alon. Now, Shrade isn't just any ordinary student. He's the Shrade Alon. He's one of the most talented, mysterious, and effortlessly cool guys in Neo-DEAVA. The girls love him, and his musical talent is practically supernatural. But here's the kicker. Despite all that, he's never actually fought in a battle. Amata is still processing this info dump when suddenly, Cayenne storms in, looking like he's ready to beat some answers out of Amata regarding his, let's say, creative performance in the last battle. Things are about to get real ugly until Shrade, deciding that this is the perfect time for some chaotic musical intervention, places his hands on the piano and uses his element power. And just like that, Cayenne is forced to relive one of his worst, most painful visions, the wedding and mourning clothes. The intensity of the moment completely shuts down his interrogation plans. And just like that, Shrade proves that sometimes the best way to win a fight is to play a dramatic piece on the piano. Meanwhile, Mikono is going through her own emotional roller coaster, sinking into sadness over the fact that she might never get to see Amata or Cayenne again before she's sent home. But before she can even fully process her feelings, alarms start blaring because, of course, the Abductors decide now is the perfect time to attack. The battlefield calls, and Amata, Cayenne, and Andy are sent out to fight. The problem? They have no idea where their enemy commander, Jin, is hiding. Just when things are starting to look really bad, Shrade steps up once again. Using his piano skills and element power, he helps Cayenne pinpoint Jin's exact location. Target acquired. The squad moves in for the attack, except Jin, being the absolute strategist that he is, dodges like a pro and flips the situation on its head. Using his army, he breaks the Union, leaving our heroes in serious trouble. Just when it seems like things couldn't possibly get any worse, he arrives. Enter Fudo Zen, the High Commander of Neo-DEAVA, who always knows how to make an entrance. And he's not alone. Mikono is with him. The moment Cayenne sees her, his overprotective brother mode kicks in at full force. There's no way he's letting her step onto the battlefield. But Fudo, in all his mysterious wisdom, isn't having any of that nonsense. With just a few cryptic yet somehow powerful words, he convinces Mikono to perform an element change, pushing her toward her true potential. Even Amada is panicking, worried that Mikono is still mad at him and shouldn't be fighting in this kind of situation. But to his surprise, Mikono completely lets go of her anger and forgives him. With all doubts and conflicts resolved, Amata finally unleashes his full strength, forming Aquarion EVOL and pulling off the ultimate move, Infinity Punch. And when I say this move wrecks Jin, I mean it wrecks him. But that's not all. This punch is so absurdly powerful that it completely obliterates the so-called Berlin Wall separating the boys' and girls' dorms. Just imagine it. 1 second, the wall is standing strong, upholding the strict no-love rule of Neo-DEAVA, and the next, gone, reduced to rubble. The entire system shattered in one punch, and just when everyone is still in shock, trying to process what just happened, Fudo, with zero hesitation, stands before them all and drops the biggest bombshell yet. A love is forbidden. Just like that, he completely changes the game. The moment is huge. The wall is gone. The rules have changed, and everyone is left wondering what this means for Neo-DEAVA moving forward. But while all this chaos is unfolding, something else is happening elsewhere. Over on Altair, Mikage, mysterious, eerie, and 100% up to something bad wakes up from his sleep. That's the end of the recap. Let us know if you want part 2 by leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to avoid being virgin forever. See you guys in the next video.